Yeah, recording has started. So today we are going to cover the chapter 2 from 6th edition book. It is called as ACE Integrated Fitness Training Model, aka ACE IFT model. Okay. So what you can do is you can mute yourself. Okay. And whenever you have any doubt or you want to talk, you can unmute yourself so that the paper sound, all those things won't come. Okay. All right. So we are starting with ACE IFT model, which is your chapter 2. So this model is slightly different from 5th edition's ACE IFT model. Okay. So they are telling that usually the questions are going to come from 5th edition only, at least for another couple of months. But still, let's be safe, right? Anyways, you have the ACE 6th edition book. So we are going to cover the ACE 6th edition's IFT model. It's slightly different from 5th edition. Okay. So let's start. So first things over here, they are talking about some contemporary parameters versus traditional training parameters, which is given in page 35 of your 6th edition book. Okay, it's starting like that. So over here, they are talking, you can look at table 2.1. So what they're saying over here is earlier, previously the strategy was this. You're going to work on only these parameters, which are cardio, muscular endurance, meaning how many push-ups you can do, how many body weight squats you can do, how many repetitions you can do, all these things. Then they would move to muscular strength and they would test your muscular strength, and finally flexibility. These were the only parameters that we used to consider earlier, long back. Okay. This is called as traditional training parameters. So the traditional training parameters only has these parameters: cardio, muscular endurance, muscular strength, flexibility. That's it. Whereas contemporary training parameters, which is now a lot of new things have been introduced as fitness model, everything adapted and improved. A lot of other parameters have come to the picture. Now we are looking at a lot of other things. People have realized that you should also look on health behavior change. Okay, that is also important. Just working on these factors are not important if they are not motivated. If you are not able to make them stick them to the program, all these things cannot be achieved. So we start with health behavioral change. Then we also work on postural stability. We are trying to fix postures. Previously, all these things were completely ignored. Kinetic chain mobility. Kinetic chain means starting from your feet all the way till up till your head. Okay, so we have your feet, you have your ankle, your knee, your hip joint, your lumbar, your lower back, your thoracic spine, your neck. All of these things are being addressed. All of these things coming as a part of a chain. Okay, this chain we call it as kinetic chain. We'll look into all these things in details when we reach that chapter, where we specifically discuss the kinetic chain. Okay, so we are looking at kinetic chain mobility, movement efficiency, very important. You need to, if you're not able to move well, how can you load yourself, right? How can you use loads and start doing all these? What do people usually do? They go to a gym, they directly start doing bench press. They directly start doing all the machines around it. They don't even know how to do a shoulder press, how to do a bench press, but still they are doing. This is a wrong approach. So we are working on movement efficiency. We are teaching them movement. Then we are also working on core conditioning. Having a strong core will protect your lower back, will protect you from a lot of injuries that can happen. Okay, so we are working on core conditioning. We are also working on balance, because you're not always going to stand in one position and work out like a robot, right? Sometimes you'll be moving directions. From a lunge position, you might come to a side lunge position, side squat position, right? So all these balance also you should be having. So we need to work on your balance, your ability to stand on one leg and stuff like that. Then we are working on cardiorespiratory as usual. Then the same things. We also have something extra over here, that is metabolic markers. We'll be talking about ventilatory thresholds later on. Okay. Then we are again working on endurance, strength, flexibility, all the other parameters which were already there, that also we are working on. And finally, something extra has been added, which is agility, coordination, reaction time, speed, and power. So nowadays, people are not just coming for one reason to gym, right? Different people have different goals. Some of them are training for athletic event. Some of them, they have a boxing tournament coming in and they want to look fit for that, right? So there will be a lot of other factors also that we have to accommodate now in training. That is the reason we are also looking into stuff like agility, coordination, reaction time, speed, power, all these things. Okay, so this is what comes under contemporary training parameters. A lot of extra things have come apart from just cardio, muscular endurance, strength, and flexibility. More than that. Okay. Now, if you come to page 36, second paragraph, come a little down, just the line right below the picture, you can mark it. Adults should do at least 150 minutes a week. Did you get that? If you got that, try marking it. Adults should do at least 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity cardio and 75 minutes a week of vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity. And the line just below that, you can also mark that also. In addition, adults should adults should participate in muscle strengthening activities of at least moderate intensity involving all major muscle groups. Here's the important point, on 2 or more days per week. So these two sentences are important. They will ask you a question from here. Okay, what is the minimum amount of workout that you should be doing? This question they'll definitely ask. What is the minimum amount of workout that you should be doing? You should be doing at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity cardiorespiratory physical activity, 75 minutes a week of vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity. This is the minimum. You should do at least this much. That is what is recommended by ACE. So they will ask you this question. Now, if you're doing any kind of strength training exercises like your usual weightlifting and stuff, you should participate in muscle strengthening activities of at least moderate intensity involving all major muscle groups on 2 or more days per week. Okay, so just remember this. They'll ask you one question from there. Okay, you can come to page 37. This is also important. Function, health, fitness, performance, continuum. So what does this mean? So a lot of people have confusion here. They think, come on, health should come first, right? Obviously, we should always think about health first. Wrong. Function comes first. And I'll tell you why. What do you mean by function? Function means if you're not able to function properly, which means you're not even able to bend and lift something. You're not able to bend and lift a child. You're not able to lift a luggage from the bottom without falling or without being able to control yourself. Do you think you will even work on your health? Not at all, right? If you can't even function properly, if you don't even have the basic functionality, how are you ever going to do any kind of physical activity? Forget about going to the gym. You'll probably not even do your household chores. You'll not even do gardening. You'll not even wash your dishes. You'll not be able to do anything if your function is all over the place. If it is completely bad, right? So function comes first. Then comes health. Under health, what all things comes? Under health comes your blood pressure, your cholesterol levels, your insulin sensitivity, your BMI, your height, weight, what's your body fat percentage. All these things will come under your health, right? So first we have to build the function of a person. First we have to improve the function of a person. Only then we can work on that person's health. So only once you start doing all the exercises, automatically your BP will reduce, or your type 2 diabetes risk will reduce, or your insulin sensitivity will improve, your cholesterol levels will become normal, and all these good things you will get only when you start working out, right? So first comes function, second comes health, then comes fitness. So what is the difference between health and fitness? Most people think they both are same. No, health is health. Fitness is more about your ability to do certain things, like your ability to lift heavy weights, your ability to lift a moderate weight for many repetitions, which is your endurance, basically, right? Being able to do a heavy bench press or being able to do a lot of push-ups. So all these things comes under fitness, ability to do something more than which is just about health and basic functionality. That's the reason fitness comes third, because until and unless you fix the function, you're never going to work on your health. And until and unless you reach the point where you're working on your health, you're never going to think about the next level, which is being able to do a lot of push-ups, being able to do some heavy weightlifting. You're not even going to think about these things. Right? So third comes fitness. Finally, performance. Performance is the final thing. That will be the final priority. But what happens in our local gyms? Performance comes first. The first thing they will do is put you into all sorts of crazy fancy exercises, especially group classes and stuff. Why? So that they'll make you sweat a lot, and they will put a hashtag, fat is crying, sweat is fat crying, and all those things. And what happens? Yes, you get a very good workout. Yes, you're happy and all those things. But what happens? Within 2 days, 3 days, you're getting injured and you never go back to that class. Right? So performance comes at the last. So before performance to happen, at least your functionality has to be good. That is like base. At least your movements, your ability to control yourself while doing a lunge, while doing a squat, all these things has to improve first. Then your health, then your fitness. Fitness also has to be good, like your basic strength. Can you at least do 10 push-ups? Can you at least do a couple of shoulder press with proper form without feeling pain in your shoulder and all those things? Can you at least do some weighted squats? Weighted squats, it need not be very heavy. Some weighted squats, at least if are you able to do that, only then I will move you to doing things like jumping on a box, right? The plyometric stuff that you see, clap push-ups, or running very quickly, moving directions, and doing those box jumps or those depth jumps. All these performance related stuff will come at the last. Once your basic strength, your basic fitness level, everything is covered, then comes performance. So now you will always remember this continuum. No matter how they twist and ask, you will be able to answer this question. So what is the sequence? Function, health, fitness, performance. Very simple, right? So even if they twist it around, function comes first, then comes health, then comes fitness, then comes performance. So this whole thing is called as function, health, fitness, performance continuum. Function, health, fitness, performance continuum. That is what it's called. Now, if you look at this continuum, this is also serving as a template for you, especially if you're a beginner, as a personal trainer, if you're a beginner. This is providing a template for you, right? Now okay, if a client comes to you, you have to first look at this client or talk to this client or give him some assessments, whatever. You have to just find out one small thing. In this continuum, where does this person fall? If he's a complete beginner, I'll have to start with function. But what if he's not a complete beginner? What if he's an intermediate level? Then I can start with fitness. What if he's not even intermediate, he's advanced level? Then I'm going to start with performance, right? The basic fitness thing is taken care of. He's already good at all those things. Now my job is to get him to do all those extracurricular stuff, those fancy stuff, like box jumps, clap push-ups, and blah, blah, blah. Of course, all these things you will study in detail in the upcoming chapters, like what to do in performance, what to do in functionality, what to do in fitness. All these things you will get to later on as you cover all the chapters. But now at least you have that skeleton structure. You have that template. Okay, let me decide in this continuum, where does this fall, this person fall? Because earlier gym was all about what? Just getting some, exercise, just building some muscle and all those things. But now it's not like that. Now you're getting a variety of clients, right from young people to old people, right from healthy individuals to people with medical conditions. That's the reason we have an entire section covering special population in 6th edition, right? An entire section is about how to treat these kind of people. So you have a variety of people. So it is important that you have this template and you put them accordingly. You cannot use everyone, you cannot give them performance, everyone you cannot start with functionality. You have to decide in this continuum, where do they fall? Based on that, you're going to make a decision and you're going to start the trade. Which means what? Which means that you as a personal trainer no longer have to feel scared. No matter what client comes to you, you have something to do. You have something in your hand to do. If they are a beginner, you know how to start. You start with functionality. If they are advanced, you can put them in performance continuum. If they are somewhere in between, you may have to check their functionality first. If that is fine, you can directly start with fitness. Build a base level of fitness, basic strength and all those things, and then progress them to performance. Right? You'll also be able to train your clients long term. Think about it. If a beginner is coming to you, you first cover maybe 1 month, you will be doing just function and stuff. Second month, you will be trying to build a little bit of their endurance, give them some movement type exercises, body weight exercises, stuff like that. Third month, you can give them some weighted stuff and all those things. Once they become really good at that, then you can take them to performance. So you can handle a client for 6 months, maybe even 1 year, right? How cool is that? And this person, if that person can afford personal training, he's getting so much things, right? He was at this point where his basic function was not good. He couldn't even get up from a chair without feeling pain in his knee or without losing his balance. That person, from there, he has come all the way to doing box jumps, plyometric stuff. Imagine how happy and how satisfied he'll be with your service. right? You took him all the way from not being able to get up from a chair, all the way to jumping on a box, performing depth jumps and stuff like that, right? So that is where this entire continuum is going to come to your rescue, come to your advantage. Okay. Now let's slightly look at the main topic of this chapter, which is the ACE IFT model. So come to page 38. The ACE IFT model has two training components. So they have been highlighted in dark black, that it has been mentioned. One is cardiorespiratory training and the other is muscular training. This is your main heading. The ACE IFT model has two training components. One is your cardiorespiratory training and second is your muscular training. Okay. So which means what? Whatever client you get, you have two components that you need to be working on. You have to work on their cardio. You have to work on their muscle, both, not one or the other, both. Because whatever result you want, you need to have some basic level of cardio. You need to have some basic level of muscular fitness. That's the reason we have two headings. One heading is cardiorespiratory training. Second heading is muscular training. Those are our two main headings. Now, under these two headings, there are some subheadings that we need to know. So all you have to do is look at this picture, you will understand. First, look at just the left side of the picture. Under cardiorespiratory training, what is coming? There are three stages or three phases of cardiorespiratory training. Number one, base. Number two, fitness. Number three, performance. Okay. Mind you, we are only talking about cardio over here. We are not talking about anything else. We are only talking about cardio. In cardio, there is three stages. Stage one is base training. Stage two is fitness training. Stage three is performance. Just three stages. Similarly, for muscular training also, we have three stages. What are they? Number one is functional. Number two is movement. Number three is load/speed. Now, since you have the foundation, you already have the continuum. Now it will be easy for you to relate over here. Why are we following this sequence? Now you will understand, right? First, I'm working on their functional aspects. Then I'm working on their movement aspects. I'm making sure they're able to move well. They're able to do all those hip hinge and all those techniques properly. Then I am including what? The final stage, I'll be including load/speed. Why load/speed? Again, depending on the person's goals. If someone's goal is just hypertrophy, building some muscle, or improving his body composition, meaning reducing his fat percentage and increasing his lean muscle mass, he will probably stop at load, right? He'll probably not have hi-fi goals. But what if someone is having hi-fi goals? What if he wants to compete for a bodybuilding competition or some kind of cycling competition or some kind of national level boxing? In that case, you need to include that speed aspect where you have to give them some power training, some speed training, some agility and coordination training, depending on their sport, what their goals are and stuff like that, right? So now you get a template over here again. This is your main template. So you have a cardio aspect, you have a muscular training aspect. Under cardio aspect, we have three stages: base, fitness. Sorry, it will start like this: base, fitness, performance. Under muscular training, we have three stages: functional, movement, finally load/speed, load or speed. Okay, this is your basic template. Now, in between, they have mentioned something called as ACE mover method, right? You see something called as ACE mover method with some arrows given over there. That we are going to see in the next page. So come to the next page, page 39. Okay. So before we get into ACE mover method and ABC approach, let's first look at the heading over here: a client-centered approach to personal training. In this, I want you to mark the third line. The client-personal trainer relationship is the foundation of the ACE IFT model. I want you to remember this, because sometimes they like to ask this question. They'll ask you, what is the foundation of ACE IFT model? Or ACE IFT model is built on the foundation of what? True or false, right? The foundation of something else, they'll say, and they'll ask you whether it is true or false, right? So you need to know that rapport is the foundation. Client-trainer relationship is the client-personal trainer relationship is the foundation of ACE IFT model. It is built upon, you can mark this also, it is built upon rapport, trust, and empathy. Okay. So this client personal trainer relationship is nothing but rapport. Rapport is your rapport is the other word of relationship, right? If my relationship with you is good, what will I say? We have a very good rapport. If my relationship with a person with a person is good, I will say I have a very good rapport with that person. So rapport is the foundation. Okay, rapport is nothing but your client personal trainer relationship. That is your foundation, because until and unless you have a trust, until and unless, for example, until and unless you trust me, you trust in my services, or you feel that you might benefit from these coaching sessions, why would you sign up with me, right? Why would you sit over here and nod and listen to me attentively? Why would you do that, right? Who am I? I'm a nobody, right? The only reason you're doing it is because we already built a rapport. Maybe you saw some old YouTube videos of mine, because of that you generated that trust, whatever, right? So client trainer, that relationship or that rapport is your foundation. On that foundation, we are building this ACE IFT model. No model is going to work out if there is no trust, if there is no rapport. No matter, you can bring the best strategies out there, you can build the best template out there, it is not going to work if the rapport is not good. Therefore, that is the foundation. Okay. Now we'll look at ACE mover method. Mainly what we need to see is ABC approach. Okay. Now, since this ACE mover method and ACE ABC approach is not there in 5th edition, this is not there in 5th edition, this has been introduced in 6th edition, there is a very good chance that they will not ask you this question. Okay, because a lot of people are still they have still purchased the 5th edition and they're still studying from 5th edition. Okay, and they have a lot of this ACE tech support. They have also claimed that the questions are coming from ACE 5th edition. You can pass with this 5th edition also. So there's a very good chance they will not ask you this question, because this has been newly introduced. But still, just to be safe, I want you to remember this and study this. Okay. Why take risk when you already have the book with you? Why take risk? Let's study this. Okay. So let's talk about ACE mover method, introducing the ACE mover method philosophy and ACE ABC approach. A key element of using the ACE IFT model to empower clients to make the behavioral changes to improve their health, fitness, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This we are doing by adopting the ACE mover method. Now, this ACE mover method is founded on the following tenets. Tenets means on the following parameters. These are the values with which we have made the ACE mover method. So if at all they ask you ACE mover method, they'll probably ask you on what foundation is the ACE mover method built on. At that time, don't jump into conclusion like rapport and click on rapport. No, ACE IFT model is built on the foundation of client personal trainer relationship, rapport, empathy, all these things. ACE mover method is built on the foundation of these 3 lines. What are they? Number 1, each professional interaction is client centered with a recognition that clients are the foremost experts on themselves. Number 2, powerful open-ended questions and active listening are utilized in every session. Number 3, clients are genuinely viewed as resourceful and capable of change. Okay, so let me tell you each of these headings. What do they mean by this? Number 1, any interaction that you're having with your client, it should always be client-centered. What does that mean? You are not going to talk about your certifications, your qualifications, your experiences until and unless it's like really relevant, where you have to share an experience to make this person feel comfortable with you. Until and unless that's the case, you're never going to talk about you, because they are paying you for their time, right? Even over here, am I talking about my experiences? No, I'm keeping all the focus on you. I'm trying to make sure you understand this chapter. You are able to mark all the important things. Everything is you. Why? Because you're paying me for this, right? This time that we are having, you're paying me for this. Similarly, any professional interaction that you're having with your client, it should be client centered. It should be all about the client. It shouldn't be about you and your certifications and how great you are as a personal trainer. Okay. So each professional interaction is client centered with a recognition that clients are the foremost experts on themselves. Meaning what? Even in our first session, what did I ask you? I asked you, what is your requirement? What do you feel? What do you want? Why did I do that? Because I know that you are your expert. Nobody knows yourself better than yourself. Right? I don't know you. I may judge a few things, I may tell a few things, but that comes secondary, that comes later. First, I am automatically assuming that you are your expert. You know who you are. You know how much time you have for study. You know which days you are available. You know how you like to study, what kind of strategy helps you better. Like you told me, for example, that I'm an auditory learner. I like it when I'm hearing something and learning, right? So who knows this better? You know this better than anybody else, right? So any interaction that I have should be client centered and with the this thing with the recognition that clients are the foremost experts on themselves. That is point number one of your mover method. Point number two is you should always ask open-ended questions. You should never ask closed-ended questions like, hey man, what's your name? Okay man, how are you? Okay man, how is everything going? Everything good? All these things are closed-ended, right? They'll just answer in yes or no. Yeah man, it's good. Yeah, yes, no, no. These are all closed-ended. You need to ask open-ended questions like, tell me how you feel about exercise in general, or how has been your experiences with exercises in the past. Why do you have this goal? Why is ACE so important to you? Why do you want to clear this exam? What will you get out of it? All these open-ended questions if I ask you. And I am also going to give you active listening. Active listening means what? I don't just throw a question and just sit like this and nod my head or look here and there. No, active listening. I'm here present with you 100%. I'm listening to you. I'm checking each and every changes in your emotions, in your tonality, everything. I'm 100% present over here. That is the second word. Powerful open-ended questions and active listening are utilized in every session with your clients. That is point number two. Point number three is clients are genuinely viewed as resourceful and capable of change. Resourceful is another way of saying capable. Okay, so this mistake a lot of people do when they look at an overweight person or an obese person, and that person tells them about their goals and all that. You are like, "Phew, this guy is. I know. I have seen people like this. These people are not going to." You're already having this preconceived notion in your mind. So you will whatever you design, everything is not going to be proper because your foundation itself is completely screwed up, right? So you should always view clients as someone who is capable of change. You should believe in them. They themselves may not believe in themselves, but you need to believe in them. And that has to come out in your voice and in your approach. That is when they will also start believing in themselves. So clients are viewed as resourceful and capable of change. Okay. Finally, we are coming to the main thing, which is your ABC approach. A stands for ask open-ended questions. B stands for break down barriers. And C stands for collaborate. Ask open-ended questions you already understood. You need and you know the value of it. Ask open-ended questions. Second is break down barriers. That is very important because when you ask a question, they are not always going to answer everything in a positive way, right? So you need to break down their barriers. So some people will complain, I don't have time. In fact, that is the most common excuse that people will give you. Yeah, sir, I want to do all these things, but I'm not sure if I can give that much time, right? So you have to break down that barrier. You need to ask them more questions and find out, okay, why is it that you don't have time? Is there any other place where you can adjust this? How about you try it in this way or try it in that way? Is there something that you can do about this time management thing? Or how important is this exam for you or this weight loss program for you? How important is this for you? Okay, if it is that important, why is there any way you can adjust, squeeze in at least 1 hour in a day? Or 1 hour 3 days a week or 2 days a week? Is it possible? So you need to break down their barriers, because unless you break down their barriers and they give you a commitment from this their side that yes sir, I think I can do this, I think we can do it like this, until and unless they give you that commitment, it is going nowhere. That is how you move a person. Ask open-ended questions, break their barriers, and finally collaborate. Collaborate is the easy part. I mean, not the easy part, but collaborate is the final part where you're setting up smart goals. You're setting up proper goals for them. You are getting into action, like how, like right now, we are already in this session, right? So this is collaborate. I am collaborating with you. We are both collaborating. We are trying to achieve an end result, which is clearing the ACE exam, right? So this is called as ABC approach. A for ask open-ended questions, B for break down barriers, and C for collaborate. Okay.